Hey, what's up guys, Dawgpd right here, and today I want to talk about how Disney can save Star Wars. Now I got this idea because I was watching a recent video by Eckhart's Ladder, I'll link him in the description below, great Star Wars YouTuber, but he was talking about how he loved Rogue One and he thinks it's the best Star Wars movie out of the best Disney Star Wars movie and maybe even considered the best Star Wars movie ever made. Now I agree with him, I think Rogue One's a really good movie, but then I thought about more. And since I just finished a new Star Wars video game, Star Wars Squadrons campaign, and I thought it was really good, I think Disney can actually save Star Wars by doing things like Rogue One and like the Star Wars Squadrons campaign. Let me get more into it. We know that Disney made the sequel trilogy and is a very controversial trilogy in the Star Wars community on whether it was good, whether it was bad, whether it was needed or unneeded. I personally think it was unneeded, but I do like episode 9 on how it ended the saga. But then it left Star Wars fans thinking, what next? We know that there's another trilogy coming out in the future. I believe due to COVID it got pushed back till 2023, 2024, and 2025, around those years. And left us fans thinking, what will Disney do next? Well, I think that if Disney focuses and makes movies like Rogue One, I think they could save the whole Star Wars name. Now, Rogue One was great because it focused on the story on how the Rebels got this plans to the Death Star that led to Star Wars: A New Hope in Episode 4, which they were then able to destroy the Death Star because they had the plans. And I think if Disney does more movies like this where they take one of the original movies, or they take a movie and describe, or they maybe even take two movies and describe what happened in between. So let's say they went with, or a good example is the Clone Wars. Clone Wars is such a popular TV show, obviously shown by Clone Wars having to return after so long, and it's because it described the story between episodes 2 and 3. Now of course it did have a good character development and Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, all the Jedi, but also described a story between episode 2 and episode 3 and how it gave more context into the Clone Wars. So if Disney did more even TV shows like this where it described what happened between two movies, giving us more context, I think context is such a big thing that it would help us a lot. But you know what, maybe Disney already has something planned for a new trilogy. Maybe, and I'm kind of excited for the new trilogy because what if they're going into the Old Republic maybe as a prequel, or maybe they're just making a whole new saga. Who knows? And I'm excited because you don't have to follow any storyline, which I think kind of held Disney back, hopefully, in the sequel trilogy. So maybe I have no word in that. But now we know that EA is actually going to try to have Star Wars games every single year like Call of Duty puts out. Now these Star Wars games, we know that EA has had history with Star Wars games, starting with Battlefront 1, their remake of it, and then, which was Battlefront 1 I bought on, pretty sure I had it like within the first week. So after seeing the trailer for it, I thought it was going to be a good game. Now, this is my first ever console game, first person shooter game. I've never had the prior Battlefront, so I didn't know what a good Star Wars game was. And to me, Star Wars Battlefront 1 was a good game, but me being a person who loves the storylines, I was disappointed with no campaign. So here comes Battlefront 2. It had a campaign which I was excited to play. I got on day 1, I started playing the campaign, probably lasted me about a week or two, and I realized this is a good campaign. Of course, this was before the second update, which added the second part of the campaign. So of course I played that, and I enjoyed that campaign because it gave us a whole new story about these troopers being on Endor and what the plan was after Endor, and it gave us what insight to what some troopers might have thought when they if they actually decide to rebel, because we know that some rebellion troopers came from Empire, like Inferno Squad did. Then what I love so much about the second part of the game was it then led to Battle of Jakku, which we know was such a vital role into the Resistance because it was one of the largest clashes before the First Order and the Resistance were made. Now I think since we're going to go away from Disney and their movies. And we'll talk more about TV shows after that. But if we talk about the games, wouldn't it be great if EA continued making these games? Star Wars Squadrons had a great campaign. I won't spoil it for you guys, but I'll probably make a video later talking about it. But it is a really good campaign. And what's so good about it is, well, take that back. I think it's good, but not great, because I do wish that they included us, allowing us to run a trench run on the first Death Star, or taking out the second Death Star. But aside from that, it had a great campaign because it didn't focus on anything in the original trilogy. It focused on after the second Death Star, what happened between, because most people would think there's no battles after the second Death Star, which was countered by Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign, but it was still thought to be there wasn't any big battles. It was just kind of small battles leading up to Battle of Jakku. What Star Wars Squadron did was provide more context in between what happened in 6 and 7, with this development, with this squadron developing a certain type of ship, while the Empire wants to take out the squadron. That's probably as much I'll give because I don't want to spoil the storyline or the campaign for you guys, but it is a really good campaign. So I think for the future of Star Wars games, EA can really make it good by doing more stories like this, where it's during a time point it's during a point of time where you already are familiar with, but it brings a whole new story to it. I mean, we know that Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show still has left out episodes, which is unfortunate. What if EA took those episodes, put you in a first-person shooter as a clone trooper, and you lived out those episodes or those battles? Or maybe even they're making a Bad Batch TV show. Why not give us a Bad Batch video game? Imagine how cool that'd be to be the Bad Batch and having to do different tasks like Star Wars Commando or Delta Squad. That game. I know that game is really. I know some fans really like that game. Give us a game like that for Bad Batch, and then okay, if you don't want Clone Wars games, give us a first. Because I want first-person shooter now, because Star Wars Battlefront 2 is done, and it's left in a good spot. But I'm trying to think of games that EA could do. They already just came out the Starfighter dogfight game. They have Jedi Fallen Order 2 coming out soon. So I'll be interested to see where that storyline goes, because you know that the Jedi Order never actually was rebuilt. So my best guess would be EA would be making a first-person shooter game. So in my opinion, I think EA could do a lot with making stories in between certain events, like Star Wars Squadrons did. Now, second to last, but this one's mainly the last thing that's relevant, is TV shows. We know The Mandalorian is great right now because it provided a whole new piece of content between episode 6 and episode 7. I will tell you though, I am not excited for season 2. If the rumors are true that Disney's throwing in all these well-known people, I think it's very unneeded. But who knows, maybe it'll actually be really good. But Mandalorian's good because, and I'm not talking about Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is just catch more fans in. It's like a Trojan horse for Star Wars fans to get more people in, which I like. But what's so good about Mandalorian is it's providing us, especially Clone Wars fans, it's showing us what happened to Mandalorians after the Battle of Mandalore. I'm hoping season 2 goes more into that, because we know that the Mandalorian isn't a real Mandalorian, but he is going to come across actual Mandalorians hopefully. I want to know what happened after Mandalore, of course after Rebels and after the Empire took over, and all those sorts of events, especially after the fall of the Empire, because we know that the Empire ruled Mandalore. I think that'll be really interesting. But it's these shows that are taking the stories and expanding on it, like Clone Wars did. Rebels did sort of well between 3 and 4. It talked about how they built up the rebellion, which like that they had that kind of time period that tied in Rogue One with Saw Gerrera, and they also took the Hammerhead Corvettes from Rebels into Rogue One. I did like that a lot, and I really liked it when these stories from video games, stories from TV shows, and movies kind of intertwine certain elements. But I think that Disney could do a lot of TV shows. I know getting The Bad Batch, which I'll love. I'll probably, because it's explained, because that was my first question, honestly, when we saw The Bad Batch, is did they follow Order 66? And now we know they didn't follow Order 66 because of defects. So what do they do against the Empire? And I'm really excited for that TV show. I know that there's rumors about Obi-Wan movie, which I'll be honest, I'm not too excited about for Obi-Wan movie / TV show or TV show series, because we already know so much about Obi-Wan. Guaranteed it could provide us context between 3 and 4, but I wish they'd focus on other characters like Cassian Andor, which will be good because we know he's been fighting with the rebellion since he was like 6 or 10 or something, he said, which will provide us what he did through his life. I'm pretty sure there has to be some good battles. Hopefully they can intertwine some older battles in there. Like maybe he was on Hoth. Wait, no, he can't be on Hoth. So that'll actually be interesting because it'll be during the time of the Rebels TV show probably. So that'll be really interesting. But yeah, Disney, give us movies, TV shows, and video games. Books on these stories in between movies. I will love. And leave down in the comments and share this video because I want to know what other people think. Thank you guys for watching. Dawgpd23 out.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.